text Maddie to pick up.
They can just come in.
Hello.
Hey guys, look, it's Rosalie. Baby, come in.
He's here.
It's Rosie Dozy. Dude, you look huge beside her. She's pretty loud, eh? She was just like, have fun there. Dude, you want to see her, bud?
Yeah.
That's your baby sister.
Sister.
Take care of her.
Probably a
She
little
put
bit.
in my gym going to be the baby.
Thanks for watching, Mom.
Rosie's cozy now. Rosie.
Rosie.
I am currently 12 hours, more like 11 hours postpartum. I just feel like I am so beyond tired right now. I'm just trying to rest, but also trying to do the things that I need to do to take care of myself other than sleep, like eat. My mother-in-law just brought me a chicken sandwich with some greens on it. I've actually been drinking a ton of water, which is good, and putting the After Ease in it to help with like the afterbirth contractions, which I'm definitely feeling, but I feel like it's probably helping because it's not like debilitating. But I'm also just like forgot that you need to keep getting up to pee when you're like freshly postpartum. They say like every 3 hours is like a good amount to be going to the bathroom. Changing everything out and oh bless you honey, bless you. I'm actually so surprised by how alert she is right now given how little sleep she got last night, but her eyes are like wide open. Hi honey. The kids did run in to meet her, which I was not like mentally prepared for. They heard her crying and our bedroom door was unlocked and they just like bolted in out of nowhere. So Jared and I were not prepared for that interaction, but it went well. Our daughter is so excited that she's here and just like wants to be in here in the room with me, which I honestly would be fine with, but she's feeling kind of sick right now and I just like don't really want to risk that. So I'm trying to create like as much space as possible. It was like a little bit chaotic of an introduction, but it still went well. And I just sent them out with like 2 new KiwiCo boxes that I have been saving for this moment, just knowing that it would keep them entertained and busy and happy out there while we hang out in here. So we're gonna try and get a little bit more rest.
I don't know
how I prevent that.
Yeah. I'm sitting flexible
Cute.
because this is my bed.
Okay. What are you doing, buddy?
Needs to get washed likely.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna bring another
Little
blanket in
bit.
here.
Are you ready, Rosie?
You just have to let Rosie get used to having 2 kids around.
Yeah.
Can she lay with me?
Can Rosie lay with you?
Yeah.
It is very late morning right now. It is 10:40 a.m. It has officially been like 24 hours since I gave birth. I don't know how long I have right now because I'm watching her from the mirror here. I have her in the Snuggle Me and she is not a fan of that thing. She is very much like wanting to be held all the time. So I've just been doing that like literally since I had her. But I tried to set her down for a minute because our midwife is going to be here in a few minutes to do like a check with both of us, and I just felt like I needed to shower. I hadn't showered since I had given birth and I was feeling so gross. So since I was feeling well enough to shower, I figured I would take advantage of that opportunity. Jared has the kids out right now, so it gave me a second to do that. I'm sorry if my voice sounds like a little bit raspy. To be completely honest with you, while I was pushing, I was like vocalizing a lot and I was honestly losing my voice towards the end of it. It wasn't even that long, but for whatever reason, that like deep guttural sound that I make when I'm pushing just like takes the life out of my voice. So here we are. At the 24-hour mark, things are going relatively well. I feel like my recovery is going very well so far. I know I'm very fresh into it and I literally just spent all day in bed yesterday. I'm spending all day in bed today, except for honestly right now, just to like get showered and cleaned up to go right back into bed. I had been warned that with like subsequent babies and especially a third that you can see more bleeding or find that it takes longer for that to stop. But I feel like I've already stopped filling up the pads that I've been using, which is really good. I did get a 1st degree like superficial tear just because of how fast she ended ended up coming out. So all things considered, that's not bad, but I'm definitely still like not gonna push myself. Also been pleasantly surprised by how well breastfeeding has been going. I honestly think that because she was awake so much on the first night and I ended up like comfort feeding her so much, it gave us a lot of extra time to like practice her latch and get her and I just like comfortable doing that together. And so it's been going really well. She's been eating, I would say, every like 1.5 hours to 2 hours, so we're feeding often, but she's already had 5 like meconium poop diapers, which the midwives were not expecting. They were telling us we might not see anything because she passed her first poop like very shortly after she was born, so they were like, don't be surprised if you don't see anything else, but girl has been pooping. Today has also been Jared and I's first day alone with all 3 kids, so I feel like we're starting to experience more of what the dynamic of our family feels like now, and it's funny how much more like full it feels. Yesterday, because I was in bed all day with Rosie, I feel like I didn't actually see the kids too much, and today we had like a very slow morning. They both woke up around 7:30. Rosie and I were up around like 6:30. We kind of just like spent the morning on the bed as a family, just very slow, hanging out, trying to get them used to being gentle with her and being around her, and it was good. But it was the first time that we were all together versus like me being with one, Jared being with the 2, and being a family of 5 feels full. It feels good, but it definitely feels different. In terms of sleep, last night was another rough night for baby girl, which I was anticipating and not surprised by. They usually call that second night syndrome. Unfortunately, we had first and second night syndrome, and I wouldn't be surprised if we had third as well. She is just so confused right now when it comes to day and night, and that's all normal. She fell asleep around 9 and got a really solid chunk of sleep up until I would say midnight, but then I think like between 12 and 12:30 she woke up, and then I want to say she was up until like 4 after that point, and I was basically trying everything like cluster feeding, checking her diaper, burping her. I ended up giving her some probiotics, but baby girl just wants to be held by mama. Basically every time I would hold her, she would conk out and fall fast asleep, but I'm obviously not going to be able to sleep while I'm doing that. So it was just this weird dynamic of like me sitting and holding her and then like trying to resettle her down again, but having to pick her back up. So I ended up being awake for a while once again, but to be honest with you guys, I feel like I'm feeling pretty good on a tiredness level. Don't get me wrong, I am exhausted and I'm sure it's going to catch up with me, but I feel like my body just is so used to this process now, having 3 under 3, that I'm coping with the tiredness very well. I literally have not even introduced caffeine again yet. I stopped drinking caffeine like a week or 2 leading up to birth, just because I want to make sure I'm as hydrated as possible going into a home birth, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to reintroduce it yet because I've got my other supplements and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm sure I'll need it eventually, but right now I am like 3 weeks coffee free. My mom and my sister are coming this afternoon, like a little bit later after the kids are up from quiet time, to meet baby girl, and I think to also grab an announcement photo for us because my sister is a photographer, which makes it really nice to be able to just like have her bring her camera and grab something nice of her that we can use to just like let everybody know that she's here. But until then, I'm gonna go put my butt back down on the bed and keep resting. I'm trying not to be on my phone too much and just like reading books and stuff instead, because whenever I'm trying to like genuinely rest and I end up just like sitting there scrolling, I always just feel gross. So I'm gonna read a book until the midwife comes, and then this afternoon hopefully grab some announcement photos. One thing about me is that regardless of the fact that I've had 3 babies in less than 3 years, I do not do newborn poop diapers well. There is just something about it that when they are like so worked up and feeling so sad, I get so emotional and feel so sad. And then I feel like I get panicky and don't like do it efficiently, which is why I usually delegate a lot of the newborn diapers to my husband. But he's currently outside with one of the big kids. The other one is napping, and I feel like I'm coming at you guys live from the trenches of like postpartum newborn core today. Do you remember when yesterday I said that I was still running off of adrenaline? That adrenaline is now gone. Like the biggest kind of day 3 post-birth update though is that my milk came in on day 2, which is not something I have ever experienced before. That made for an interesting night last night because in the early stages, their bellies are the size of like a chickpea. It's hard for them to know how much they should be eating, especially because they just want to like comfort nurse and be close to you. So we had lots of spit up last night. I'm currently sitting on like the plastic sheet that I laid over our bed in case I gave birth on here, because the mattress protector is in the wash, getting all of like the spit up and diaper change stuff and all of the stuff off of it. And looking around this room right now, it is like very evident that I am in the thick of things. I have my Hawk here in case I do want to start using it for collection, but I feel like she's still so little that I'm nervous of expressing too much and like triggering to my body that that's how much I need, because I'm like quite uncomfortable right now. So I feel like I'm trying to just wait it out a little bit and see if I can like hand express, and if that doesn't work I might need to pump a little bit just to like take the edge off. But I do feel well enough to be like kind of up and walking around. I'm just trying not to push it because I know that doing that too much now in the first couple days will set me back like later this week and into next week, and I'm trying to not have that happen. One thing that has been so helpful is the After Ease stuff that I told you guys I got this time. So it's from Wish Garden Herbs. I don't know if you guys can see the label, but it's called After Ease for afterbirth contractions. And I don't know how intense my afterbirth contractions would be if I wasn't taking that, but I know that every time I forget to put it in my water bottle when I fill back up, that I experience a lot more pain from that than when I do remember to take it. For full transparency, this is what our room looks like right now. It's just the craziness of postpartum, classic postpartum nightstand with water and silverettes and diaper cream, dirty diaper. Back there, the rest of my birth stuff in a basket of smaller diapers because the ones that I originally got for her didn't actually fit. I mentioned to you guys I was going to try out a new brand, but then it was way too big on her because she ended up coming out so tiny. And that was not something that I expected, so we had to do a last-minute emergency diaper run. This is where we are at on day 3. I am tired, I am sweaty, I'm a little bit engorged, but I'm trying to maintain perspective. Last night there was a moment where I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming. Like, how are we gonna do this? And I just tried to remember, like, this is not how it's going to be forever. This moment feels very overwhelming, but we're gonna make it through this moment, and then the next moment might be a little bit better, and then the next one might be hard again. But everything is so fleeting in this stage, and believe it or not, someday I'm gonna miss it. So just trying to soak up all of the newborn snuggles while I can. Like, just not sure what.
Hey, little pea. Hey, little pea.
You did so good on your first bed.
Beautiful face. You look so cute in this hat.
some breakfast. Second. It's gonna be a little bit more quiet today, hey? You're a trooper to be born into such a noisy house. Welcome to postpartum day 3, 4? Pretty sure it's day 4. This is our first time baby wearing. I had a little crisis moment this morning because I could not remember how to do it. Originally I put it on just like muscle memory when she was crying, and I think it was right, but I don't know. I always feel like the first time, because it's the first time for you and for your baby, it's always a little bit like, am I doing this right? I don't know. I think she's finally falling asleep in there. Something that I have been doing to make getting ready so easy is, I don't know about you, I just don't want to do like a full face of makeup when I'm postpartum, is taking a little bit of cream and just mixing it with foundation, and then honestly putting it on with my hands and not even worrying about the beauty blender and doing it almost like a tinted moisturizer. I feel like I used to do that in high school, and it's so much faster than trying to apply something that takes more time and effort than I have right now. Okay, so sorry. She got here a little bit earlier than I was anticipating. We just finished up the appointment, so that was my second in-home visit with, it was funny, it was actually the midwife this time that delivered Jude. So I had a different midwife for both of my last 2 home births, even though they were both like on the same team and from the same clinic. So it was nice to see her, and she was just saying it was funny to be like back in our bedroom again, because she was there obviously when I gave birth to Jude, and she's like, I feel like you just did this. And I was like, yeah, I did. The appointment went very well. Baby girl has been passing all of her tests, which is great. She's actually already up over her birth weight 4 days after being born, which the midwife was like shook about. Like usually that takes way longer, and like the average time that you want to see that happen by is 2 weeks, so 4 days is a little bit crazy. But honestly, to me, it makes sense because I have been feeding this girl nonstop. She was 7-12 at birth, and then when the midwives came back, not like the next day, but the day after that, she had only dropped 4% down to 7.7, and now at 4 days old, she's up to 7.14. So we've both been putting in work. In a little bit, I have a friend of mine coming over to just like visit and to meet her. And she's also bringing me coffee, which is exciting. I still have not drank coffee yet, but I was gonna make one this morning, and then when she said she was bringing one over, I was like, perfect, I'll just have that, because today I feel like I have actually really been wanting a coffee, even though last night I actually got the most sleep that I've had since I've had Rosie. She ended up doing one stretch that was like an hour and a half, and then another stretch that was like a full 2 hours right before we woke up. So I'm hoping that because my milk has come in and it feels like it's like maturing a little bit now, that she'll start to do some longer stretches, because I feel like that's what I'm starting to see just based off of last night. Just gonna be another chill day at home. Might go sit in the backyard for a minute at some point. I feel like I start to get very stir crazy towards the end of the first week, and I try really hard to hold myself back from like doing too much, but it's so tempting because by the time the first week ends, I'm just like so done with sitting around and just kind of like want to get back to some sort of semblance of daily activity. We are gonna leave the house. I have been inside basically in this room since I had her, but this Sunday we're all gonna go to church together, and I feel like before we do that morning where we're all trying to rush out the door to get there for a certain time, that we should test leaving the house, all 5 of us first, to see kind of how it goes. So we're gonna get all of the car seats into the van and configured the way that we want them, get her dressed, get me dressed, and attempt going to the market today to just see how it goes. It's also kind of special because the first outing that Vivian went on and Jude went on was also to the market. So it will be Rosie's first outing as well.
Jude's hugs are like head slams on
I
her.
know.
Avocado poo.
Avocado poo?
It looks like avocado. You're right, it does look like avocado. diaper bags are a whole new world now because they actually really matter.
Beautiful.
Beautiful little pea. It's a little bit big on you as well.
Little bit big on you.
Like all of your things are.
Pull this down, so far down. Pull this up. And then that gets rosy.
Looks so roomy, isn't it?
Yep. She's little.
Oh, bless you.
Oh,
Bless you.
Rainy days don't seem so wet. Stormy nights don't stay.
The market trip was successful. We were only out for about an hour, which I feel like was a good start, but it took us so much longer than I anticipated to get out the door into the car seat, so it was good practice. But we're just having a cozy spring day at home now. I'm washing all of the fruit that we picked up. Viv is currently helping shuck all of the corn that we got from the market, and baby girl is just sleeping beside us in the kitchen.
Talk for hours and never slept. Just silhouettes on the phone.
Let me sleep on you for a couple minutes.
We watch the sun.
Okay, little bee.
That little hand in.
Going for a ride. Okay, let's see.
Oh, this could be the best thing that I'll ever know.
Oh my goodness. She is 8'2" today.
Today is day 7 and we had our last in-home midwife appointment this morning. My teeny tiny 7-pound baby is now over the 8-pound mark, so that was short-lived. It was very special to be able to use some newborn clothes that I never got to use with my other 2 babies. And so far for both of us, everything is going well. It's been a very relaxed week. As you can see, we're still in pajamas, still trying to figure out how to make everything work and navigate what our days look like with the 2 kids and with her. Yesterday was definitely the hardest day that I've had this week. To be honest with you, I don't know if this is good, but I set like really low expectations for this week in terms of how things would go and just kind of expected that it would be really, really hard, and then just figured that if there were any good days like on top of that, that it would be a win. And for the most part, I feel like 6 out of the 7 days this week have actually been very good. Like I've been in a good place. She's been in a good place. There's been lots of sleepless nights, but for the most part, just like generally much better than I had anticipated, except yesterday. Day 6 was just like a roller coaster of emotions. I didn't film at all because it was a really rainy day, and I feel like I've been leveraging outside time with the kids a lot this week, and they couldn't get outside. They were very stir crazy. They were really missing me yesterday, and for whatever reason, like yesterday hormonally, I just feel like I was up and down. So they were up and down, I was up and down with them, and it was just like a hard day. But that's the thing with postpartum. It's not like this linear thing where you get like slowly and incrementally better every day. There are days that are going to be harder than others, and there are days that are going to be better than others, and it might be up and down, and that's okay. I've been really trying to focus on Philippians 4:8 this week in scripture, where it talks about basically just meditating on whatever is pure, whatever is right, whatever is true and excellent and praiseworthy, and basically just fixing your mind on the things that are good, because there is so much good in every day, even in the postpartum season. Especially in the first half of this week when she was waking up in the middle of the night, I was trying to see that as opportunity to have one-on-one time with her without the kids there, and just having those be moments where we can actually just be together and get to know each other. And to be honest, I haven't really been able to get much done around the house this week because she's wanted to be held a lot of the time, but I'm trying to remember that I'm gonna miss that so much and soak up just the opportunity to hold her while she's this tiny. And so it's easier said than done a lot of the time, because it is so hard when you are so hormonal to try and like focus on the good things and just like pull yourself up out of that like fog. But focusing on that verse in scripture and just looking for the good and the joyful in everything this week has really helped to honestly make this first week postpartum probably the best like first postpartum week that I've had so far. Thank you guys so much for watching this vlog. I hope that you enjoyed coming along for the first week with a newborn, the 3 under 3 edition, and walking through this postpartum journey with me. If you did enjoy it, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel and consider sticking around. But until my next vlog, I love you guys, I'm praying for you guys, and I will see you soon.